Are you 65, 75, or even 85 years old and finding it harder to take those daily walks? Maybe the weather stops you, or those uneven sidewalks have become your worst enemy. Perhaps you're watching this because someone you love is struggling with their mobility. If you're nodding your head right now, this video is exactly what you need. And before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell, because what I'm about to share could completely transform how you think about staying active as you age. You see, there's a widespread belief that walking is the only safe exercise option for seniors. But I'm here to tell you something that might surprise you, something that decades of research and countless success stories have proven. By the time you reach these golden years, walking alone may not be enough, and for some, it might not even be the best option anymore. Those neighborhood strolls you once took for granted might have become challenging, perhaps even daunting. But what if I told you that this apparent limitation isn't the end of your active life, but rather an invitation to discover something even more effective? Now, I know what you might be thinking. If I can't walk easily anymore, what hope is there for staying active? This is a fear I've heard from thousands of seniors and their families. And let's be honest, the fear of losing your independence, of becoming sedentary, of watching your strength slip away, it's absolutely real. I've seen it in my own practice, working with seniors who thought their active days were behind them. But here's the exciting news that's going to change everything for you today. I'm about to share 7 simple, scientifically proven exercises that could be even more effective than walking. These aren't complicated gym routines or risky movements. In fact, many of them can be done right in your favorite chair or using a sturdy counter for support. These exercises have helped countless seniors, from 65-year-old Margaret, who thought she'd never feel stable again, to 85-year-old Robert, who regained the strength to play with his great-grandchildren. These aren't just theoretical solutions or temporary fixes. What I'm about to share with you are practical, adaptable movements that work for every mobility level. Whether you can barely stand without support or you're just looking to maintain your independence, these exercises are designed specifically for you. And the best part? You can start today right in your own home. Let's start with what I call the Royal Seated March. And trust me, there's a reason I've put this one first. You know those workout programs that expect you to jump right into standing exercises? Well, we're smarter than that. This first movement is perfect because you can do it right in your favorite chair, and it builds the exact strength you need for better mobility. Here's what makes this exercise so special. It targets the same muscles you use for walking and balance, but without any risk of falling. Think about it. How many times have you felt unsteady on your feet? This exercise helps you build that core strength and leg power while staying completely secure. I've seen incredible transformations with this one simple movement, like my client Dorothy, who went from barely lifting her feet to confidently walking through her garden in just 6 weeks. Now, let me be crystal clear about how to do this properly. Sit tall in your chair, just like you're about to have dinner with the Queen. That's why we call it the Royal March. Your feet should be flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. All you're going to do is lift your right knee up like you're marching in place, then lower it back down. Then do the same with your left knee. Sounds simple, right? That's because it is. But don't let that simplicity fool you. This exercise is working magic for your legs, core, and balance all at once. Start with just 30 seconds, lifting each knee as high as feels comfortable. Remember, we're not competing in the Olympics here. Your knees don't need to come up to your chest. Even a small lift is beneficial. The key is to keep your movements controlled and steady. Now that we've got your legs warmed up at the Royal March, let's move to what I like to call the Sunrise Stretch, our second seated powerhouse exercise. And don't let the word stretch fool you. This movement is a game changer for your upper body strength and posture. I can't tell you how many of my senior clients have found this exercise to be their secret weapon against those frustrating everyday challenges, like reaching for items in kitchen cabinets or lifting their grandchildren. You'll love this because it's gentle yet incredibly effective. Remember Clara, an 82-year-old who could barely lift her arms to wash her hair? After just 4 weeks of doing the Sunrise Stretch, she was not only styling her hair again, but also reaching those top shelf spices without asking for help. That's the kind of independence we're working towards. Here's exactly how to do it. Stay seated in your chair, sitting tall, just like in our first exercise. Now, imagine you're about to greet the morning sun. Start with your arms resting comfortably in your lap, palms facing up. This is your starting position. Slowly, like the sun rising in the morning sky, raise both arms out to your sides and up as high as feels comfortable. If you can only lift them halfway, that's perfectly fine. Keep your movements slow and controlled, and most importantly, keep breathing. The magic of this exercise isn't in how high you can lift. It's in the control and consistency. Do this for just 10 repetitions to start, and you'll begin to feel a wonderful opening in your shoulders and chest. And here's a little secret. This movement isn't just building strength. It's also helping to reverse that forward slouch that comes from looking down at phones or watching TV. Now, this is where things get really exciting. We're going to start our first supported standing exercise, the lighthouse turn. Don't worry if you've been comfortable in your chair. We'll take this step by step. This exercise is absolutely crucial because it targets something many seniors struggle with: turning safely to look behind them, especially while driving or walking in crowded places. Let me tell you about George, a 75-year-old who was about to give up driving because he couldn't turn to check his blind spot. This single exercise changed everything for him. But before you get up, let me be very clear. You'll need a sturdy chair or counter to hold on to. Your safety is our top priority here. Here's how we do it. Stand tall, holding onto your support with both hands. Place your feet about hip-width apart. Imagine you're standing on a small dinner plate. That's your lighthouse base. Now, keeping your feet planted firmly, slowly turn your upper body to look over your right shoulder, just like a lighthouse beam sweeping across the ocean. The key here is to move smoothly, not quickly. Turn back to center, pause, and then look over your left shoulder. What makes this exercise so powerful is that it builds rotational strength, something walking alone can't do. Start with just 5 turns to each side. You might notice one side feels tighter than the other. That's completely normal. And here's a little bonus. This movement helps maintain the flexibility you need for checking those blind spots, reaching for a seatbelt, or just looking around at your beautiful garden. Let's build on what we've learned with what I call the ocean wave, another supported standing exercise that's going to revolutionize your balance. You know that wobbly feeling you sometimes get when you're standing at the kitchen sink? Or maybe when you're trying to stand in line at the grocery store? This exercise is your answer, and I've seen it work wonders for hundreds of seniors. Just last month, I worked with Martha, a 71-year-old who was terrified of standing at her stove to cook because she felt unsteady. After practicing the ocean wave for just 3 weeks, she's back to making her famous lasagna for her entire family. This is what I mean when I talk about exercises that give you your life back. Stay right where you are from our last exercise, holding onto that sturdy support. Now, imagine you're standing at the edge of the ocean, and you're going to gently sway with the waves. Slowly shift your weight to your right foot, lifting your left foot just slightly off the ground. Even half an inch is perfect. Hold for a count of 3, then slowly ride the wave back to the left side. That's right, smooth and steady, just like the ocean itself. Here's why this is so powerful. Every time you shift your weight, you're training the small stabilizer muscles in your ankles, knees, and hips, the exact same muscles that keep you steady when you're standing in line or cooking at the stove. Start with 5 waves to each side, and remember, there's no rush. The slower you move, the more those stabilizer muscles have to work. Now, I'm about to share what might become your favorite exercise, the Golden Gate Bridge. This supported standing exercise is a true gem because it targets something crucial: the strength you need to step over doorways, curbs, or those pesky cables on the floor. And trust me, this one is a game changer. Let me tell you about James, an 83-year-old who used to shuffle his feet because he was afraid of tripping over thresholds in his home. His daughter was worried sick about him falling. But after mastering the Golden Gate Bridge exercise, he now lifts his feet with confidence. No more shuffling, no more fear. Stay in your safe position, holding your sturdy support. Imagine you're building a bridge with your leg. But don't worry, this bridge is much easier to construct than the Real Golden Gate. Start by slowly lifting your right foot off the ground, bringing your knee up like you're going to step over a small box. Hold it for just 2 seconds. That's your bridge. Then slowly lower it back down. Repeat with your left leg. The key is to keep your standing leg nice and strong, like a solid bridge support. What makes this exercise so effective is that it combines balance and strength in a way that directly translates to real-life movements. When you're stepping over obstacles in your daily life, you're essentially building these same little bridges. Start with just 5 bridges on each leg and focus on keeping your movements controlled and steady. It's time to introduce what I like to call the doorway dance. And before you tell me you don't dance, let me assure you this is the simplest yet most effective movement you'll learn today. This exercise specifically targets your side-to-side stability, which is absolutely crucial for navigating through doorways or walking in crowded spaces. This one holds a special place in my heart because of Sarah, a 76-year-old who lived alone and was struggling with getting through a narrow hallway. She'd bump into the walls so often that her children wanted her to move to assisted living. But after practicing the doorway dance for just a month, she regained her confidence and independence. Today, she glides through her hallway like a ballroom dancer. You're still going to use your support, but we're going to add a little sidestep magic. Stand facing your sturdy chair or counter, holding on lightly. Now, imagine you're standing between 2 parallel lines on the floor. Take a small step to your right, just like you're stepping through a doorway. Bring your left foot to join it. Then, step back to the left, right foot following. That's your dance. Simple, controlled, and incredibly effective. Here's what makes this exercise so powerful. It strengthens your hip muscles, which are essential for staying steady when you need to move sideways. These are the exact same movements you use when getting out of the car, sliding into a restaurant booth, or moving around furniture. Start with 5 steps in each direction, keeping your movements smooth and controlled. And now, I'm excited to share our grand finale, what I call the Victory March. This is where everything we've practiced comes together. Now, don't let the name intimidate you. This exercise is like graduation day for all your hard work. It's designed for those moments when you're feeling more confident and ready to move with less support. I'll never forget Rita, a 69-year-old who thought her dancing days were over. She started with our seated exercises, progressed through each movement we've covered, and now, well, let's just say she stole the show at her grandson's wedding. The Victory March was her secret weapon for building that dance floor confidence. Here's how we do it. Start by standing near your support. You won't be holding it, but keep it within arm's reach for safety. Stand tall. Imagine a string pulling you up from the crown of your head. Now, we're going to march, but with style and purpose. Lift your right knee up slightly, just like we did in our very first seated exercise, then step forward. Next, your left knee rises, stepping forward with control and confidence. What makes this exercise so powerful is that it combines everything you've learned: the balance from our ocean wave, the leg lift from our Golden Gate Bridge, and the confidence from our doorway dance. Take just 4 steps forward, then carefully turn around, using your lighthouse turn technique, and march back to your starting position. Start with just 2 rounds of this. Remember, we're building endurance gradually. Now that you've learned all 7 exercises, you might be wondering, how do I put this all together? Well, I'm going to make this incredibly simple for you. Think of these exercises like building blocks, not a marathon. Start with just 10 minutes a day. Yes, that's all you need to begin seeing results. And here's your perfect weekly plan to get started. For your first week, focus on mastering just our first 2 seated exercises, the Royal March and Sunrise Stretch. Do them every other day, starting with 1 minute for each. Trust me, this isn't being overly cautious. This is being smart. Remember what I always say. Success isn't built on pushing too hard, too fast. It's built on consistency and listening to your body. By week 2, when those first exercises start feeling comfortable, add in our supported standing exercises, the lighthouse turn and ocean wave. This is where you'll start noticing something amazing. Everyday movements becoming easier. Opening those kitchen cabinets, reaching for the top shelf, or turning to chat with a friend. Suddenly, these movements feel more natural. Here's a crucial tip that most exercise videos won't tell you. The best time to do these exercises is when you have the most energy. For some of you, that's right after breakfast. For others, it might be in the early afternoon. There's no perfect time except the time that works perfectly for you. And always remember our golden rule. If you feel any pain or severe discomfort, that's your body's way of saying, let's take it easier today. Let me share something powerful with you, something that still brings tears to my eyes when I think about it. Remember Dorothy, who I mentioned earlier? She didn't just regain her ability to walk in her garden. Last month, she sent me a video of herself dancing at her granddaughter's wedding. She started exactly where you are now, watching this video, wondering if these exercises would really make a difference. Then there's William, age 85, who lives in a small apartment. When he started, he could barely stand long enough to make his morning coffee. He began with just our seated exercises, doing them while watching his favorite morning shows. 3 months later, he not only makes his coffee, but walks down to the local cafe twice a week to meet his friends. No walker, no cane, just confidence in his own strength. And I have to tell you about Maria, 73, because her story might sound very familiar. She used to panic every time she had to use public restrooms, worried about losing her balance in those small spaces. After 6 weeks of practicing our doorway dance and Golden Gate Bridge exercises, she says she feels like a new person. The fear is gone, replaced with confidence she didn't think was possible at her age. These aren't just success stories. They're proof of what's possible when you combine the right exercises with consistency and patience. These people aren't superhuman. They're exactly like you. They simply made a decision to start, to trust the process, and to give themselves the gift of movement. Now, I want you to take a moment and imagine something with me. Imagine waking up 3 months from now, feeling stronger, more stable, and more confident than you have in years. Imagine moving through your home without fear, playing with your grandchildren without worry, and living life on your own terms. This isn't just a dream. It's exactly what these exercises can help you achieve. But here's the truth, and I need you to really hear this. These exercises only work if you actually do them. They're simple, yes. They're gentle, absolutely. But they're not magic. The magic happens when you make the decision, right now, to take control of your mobility and independence. Start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Begin with just that first seated march. Remember, you're not in this alone. Save this video because you want to come back to it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell, because I'll be sharing more specific tips for each of these exercises in upcoming videos. Remember what I told you at the beginning. Walking less doesn't mean moving less. It just means moving smarter. And now you have 7 smart, safe, and effective ways to do exactly that. Whether you're 65, 75, or 85, your body is capable of amazing things. You just learn the tools to unlock that capability. This is your moment. Your strength is waiting. Your confidence is waiting. Your independent life is waiting. All you have to do is start. I believe in you, and I can't wait to hear your success story in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.